Hello, today we're going to show you how easy it is to build a web application with Full Stack Basic. We're going to build a simple database application for storing a list of movies you've seen and what you thought of them, sharing with your friends on the web. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with an empty project. In the middle screen you can see there is the page designer, and everything on the page is within a grid, or grids, nested grids, and tables and columns. So what you can see on the screen is I've just created or inserted a text label. It's going to be a main heading, and in just a sec you'll see that pop-up menu there. On the left are all the things on the screen where you've clicked the mouse, and on the right, as you hover over the different things that are on the screen, are all the possible actions that you can take. So modern screens, or modern screen designs, a three-dimensional affair, and not only is there the two dimensions that you see, but there's depth, that at any point there's layers of controls and nested tables and items like that. So left click to pick the point on the screen, up pops right click to bring up the menu, and then on the left of the menu are the list of items that are at that point, and you hover over them, and on the right you get the actions that are available. So at the moment we're inserting a number of text labels to be the headings of the columns in our simple database application. Very straightforward. And oops, that's a mistake. Control Z, undo that, try again. So that's all good. Now, one more column for notes, and now it's all done. Okay, we're going to add a button to make the screen go and find some data. We'll call it search, and we'll give the button a name because it's going to be run from code, and meaningful names help a fair amount. Okay, next, let's move the heading text more into the middle. So I'll cut it from where it is, paste the next one over, and then select a whole bunch of cells across to the right, and we'll merge those cells together so that that heading doesn't have to wrap. And now we'll go and center align it so it appears in the middle of our screen. Oh, very good. Okay, now we'll create a row for the actual data, and so we'll copy our heading row. It's the easiest thing to do. Copy it and then paste it after itself. Okay, and we can go back and give all of our new text labels some names, because the code's going to populate these, and code needs a name to do it with. Okay, so they're all done. Next, we'll make the heading bold. We'll make the font bigger too. Make it a bit bigger. As you can see, the screen updates instantly, so you know exactly how big to make it. And we'll make the whole heading row bold. And so far so good. Now let's make the font Arial, because I like Arial much better than Times New Roman, even though Times New Roman is the default font for web pages. Okay, now we're going to add another row, and on it we're going to put buttons so that we can add new data. So the text on a button is actually a text label, and it could be a picture or more than one text label, or a combination of both. All good. Give the button a name. Okay, so this button is going to make all the data entry fields appear. The next button is going to save the data back once you've entered your data. Give it a name. Oops, didn't mean to name the text label. Text label needs text. We'll go and give the button a name. Okay, very good. One more button. Oops, let's merge all these cells together. Makes it look better. Okay, a new button after the last one, and this one here will cancel the addition of a new movie, just in case you change them up. Okay, once again, text on the text, and give the button a name. Okay, now just added a new row, and in this row we're actually going to put the edit fields. And the quickest thing to do is to copy and paste the edit fields. Paste. Paste. Okay, the genre will skip because we're going to put a combo box in there. Paste and paste. Okay, combo box time. Okay, once again, you select the cell, right click, and then insert combo box. Let's give these edit fields a name so the program can read them. Ed movie, Ed watched by, Ed date watch, combo genre, Ed rating, and Ed notes. Okay, all very good. Now we'll make the screen. Whoops, sorry. We'll put some values in the combo box to drop down. Some genres. Okay. Oh, very good. Now, let's make the screen a bit nicer. Firstly, we'll choose the table and we'll make it take up the whole screen, the whole browser. And very good. So it's just sort of stretched everything out to put it in. Now, let's make the rows into an array. And the reason we do that is that our code can just redim and new rows appear. We've just added scroll bars, and having added scroll bars, we can tell it a number of rows at the top and bottom to be headers and footers. And that's looking pretty good. But there's some more things we need to do. We're going to try and run it because there's an emulator that emulates a browser. Of course, before you do it, you've got to fix all your bugs. The table needs a name since it's got an array of rows. And all the rows and columns need sizes. It's not always true, but it is true if you've got scroll bars and page taking the whole browser. Okay, the header and footer rows need to have exact heights. using the EMS unit because it's an M is the size of a capital M in the default font on the browser. And okay, now still one more row to get a height. Yep, that's fine. And all the columns need widths. Now if I was smart, I'd just highlight all the columns and do them all at once, but I wasn't thinking. Okay, so we'll go through them one by one, set their widths, and we'll make them percentages because they work slightly different. We'll come back and fix up these widths later when we've actually got some data and we can see which ones are overflowing and which ones are too big. But for now, we'll just make them all 1% each. Now I can run that. Oh, before we do, we can run it. There we go. It's running. Not very exciting yet, but it will be. Scrolling works. There it is. Oh, very nice. Yep. So far, so good. Okay, let's hide those two buttons that should start out hidden. They're gone, but let's see them there anyway. Okay, all good. And give the page a title for how it appears in the browser. And we can save it and we'll deploy it. So we'll FTP it to our host. And there we have it. That's our web app so far. Yep, good. Except there's a few more things to fix up. Firstly, we'll get rid of that row of detail because our code's actually going to create it and fill it up. So we set the array size of the table to 0, and when we refresh it, we'll see no dummy data. There it is, no dummy data. And those fields at the bottom shouldn't be visible until we actually start to add a new movie. So select the row and make it collapsed. Okay. Deploy. Refresh this, refresh the browser, and it's all good. Next, we look at adding the code.